Didn't matter how smart I was. Didn't matter what I felt like I could do. Didn't matter. What mattered was, what was I going to do and why was I doing it? And in the end, how much more could I do? And how much more was I willing to give? Whether I'm giving to you, someone else, or myself.
All right, welcome to Let's Talk Real. We are here with the Phil Gerdes of the Gerdes team, real estate team. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Tell us. Yeah, no, I'm glad to have you, man. We've known each other for a while now. We've never actually gotten to sit down and chat in this environment. We've hung out obviously in other environments, on the golf course, at dinners, at events, but now we get to actually Let's Talk Real. So tell us a little bit about your real estate team for those that don't know you, what that looks like.
We're the Gerdes team. We're out of Maryland and Northern Virginia. We've got about 30 people on the team between agents and staff, media, everybody else. We've been a team now. We're in year 4, and we're having a lot of fun, man. We're having a better year this year, almost by double than what we had last year. So it's an exciting time to be in real estate. It's an exciting time to be on the team.
So let me just in a time where everyone's screaming doom and gloom, like the market's crashing, all the things that you have there, you're actually doing better than you were last year.
We're doing better than we've ever done. So not even just last year. We're doing better than that hyper COVID market where it seemed like you could just walk outside and blink and you sold a house. We're doing better than that. Okay. And it's just a testament to the team and what our focus has been and the shifts that we made, and putting in the work. You just have some folks that are just ready and willing to put in the work.
Can't forget about that part.
Yeah.
The work part.
I just had to pick you at.
Okay, so it's not just that. They actually have to do the work. Okay, so yeah, that's good. And you're, known in our circles for being a leader, being a motivator and actually inspiring people, being a good person and sharing and giving. How do you think that translates to what your team is doing in serving the consumer?
Yeah, service it's every part of what we do. We don't look at commission splits. None of that matters nearly as much to us as serving the client. And for me, my client is not only the person buying or selling a home, but it's my agents as well. So and I'm also in production. So when my agents see me and how I work, I find that it trickles onto them. That skill is transferred over, and that mindset and that approach to how do I serve first? The money will come, but you have to bless the people. You have to serve the person first. It just transfers to the agents, and that's the approach they take. So it's neat because I find that a lot of folks will be like, man, you guys went above and beyond. And for us, we're just like, that's just what we do, right? That's the jump.
Yeah.
That's what we thought it was.
Yeah.
So who's going not as far and below?
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. No, I wanted to do like half the work and for twice the pay. No, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work.
You do twice the work for half the pay.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but it's about the connections. It's about the service. It's about helping people achieve that goal. And this idea that, like, I might sell my 20th home, but they're buying their first one, or their first one in an extended period of time, or their most important one, or selling their most important one. So just getting away from this idea that it's it's just another
deal, another transaction.
Yeah, right. It's the deal for that person that's in it. And a lot of us real estate agents, we haven't bought a home in a while. So we tend to forget. We haven't sold a home in a while. We tend to forget. It's stressful.
Yeah, it's a big freaking deal.
Yeah. So service first.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so where'd you get that? I mean, where did that mentality come from? Because where did you just decide that you wanted to go above and beyond? I mean, how did you?
Yes and no. So I without getting a long drawn out story, in my past life when things weren't as good, I called my cousin one New Year's Eve, and I was like, hey, Chris, I'm done, man. I'm over this. I've had enough. And he thought I was gonna actually commit suicide. And I was like, no, you don't understand. I'm done with this life. This life that I've built is not serving me, and it's not what I expected. So I'm gonna change everything. He said, well, what are you gonna do? I said, well, I'm just gonna do for other people. I said, for 1 year, I am only going to do things for other people. And I didn't know what I was going to get from it, but I knew one thing. That wasn't the approach I'd ever taken. So let's just see what happens. It took 1.5 years. Now, this was never the plan. The whole intention was do for other people. 1.5 years later, I was a millionaire. And I was, well, wait a minute.
How did that happen?
That's it, right? Because I never thought to go make money. I just thought to go serve people because that's the approach I knew I'd never taken. But it's neat, like when you stop only thinking of yourself and you start putting other people first, it's neat how the right people and the right opportunities, it feels like they're falling in your lap, but they're not. You're earning them along the way. Yeah, you're attracting them. Exactly. So when my wife and I decided let's do this real estate thing again, because we used to own mortgage companies, but as real estate agents, the mindset was, one, we're not going to be real estate agents. We're going to be business owners in real estate. So that was the first approach. Take a business-focused approach. Well, how do we do business? Well, we've always done business the same way with a service-based mindset. So why change it? Because it's worked. And that's how we got here.
All right. So basically you were attracting what you were serving, but it was kind of it was backfiring almost.
Yeah.
You were attracting more business, attracting more relationships.
Yeah.
Through giving, through service.
Yeah. It was backfiring in a good way.
Right.
Like I just had no intention of making money. I had no intention of anything. I think that was really the kicker. Like I set out with no intention other than let's just do stuff for other people. And I did everything I could. Now, I didn't have much, but I had me. I had my time. So anything and everything I could do, I took that approach and did it. And then, like I was saying, it turned into everything that we do. It turned into the root of how we run our business and our lives and what we aim to teach our kids and every part of who we are. It's like, if we can be service first, it's neat because most people, they think like it's is this a trick?
Yeah. Where's the hustle?
Yeah,
where's the
hustle? It's just not. It's just how we're not perfect. I mean, a lot of times we're not even good or great. We're just saying, look, does this serve? If it serves, let's do it. And for a lot of time, it was if it serves, even if it hurts me, let's do it. Now we don't necessarily take that approach. It's more, if it serves, it's not going to hurt us. Mm-hmm. Why are we not serving? That's the killer question right there, right? In a good way. Why not? Like, why are we not? Why isn't everybody just saying, how can I go out and bless people? How's it hurt?
Yeah, I think a lot of times people, we're accustomed to, and I'll say myself included, we're raised to think, what's the least I can do? Like we think of ROI.
Yeah.
If I spend $1, then we want to, well, what if I only spend 50 cents? So I think that's the mindset that society takes is really what's the least. It sounds like you've been challenging people, like, what's the most you can do?
What's the most you can do? Thank you. And that's really it. Like, okay, so we know the least now. We figured that out. Like you mentioned, as a society, we've figured out what's the least we can do. And we've also figured out for the bulk of people, we're not really happy with the results of what the least is, right? So now, what is the most we can do? And then challenge yourself ahead of time, because the reality is, when you've decided what the most you can do is, that's the starting point. Like Muhammad Ali was asked, how many sit-ups do you do? He said, I don't know. I don't start counting until it hurts. So what if that was our reality for everything? What was our for everything? Yeah. Like when you feel like you have no more, then start counting. How many more can you do at that point?
Right, when you get to that base.
Yeah. It just, I don't know if it's the right way, but I know it feels good. And I can't argue that.
Yeah. And you're getting rewarded.
Yeah.
Okay. You're getting blessed. You're getting blessed with that. What was it that, I mean, you touched on that phone call to your cousin. Mm-hmm. What was it that brought you to that moment that really, it sounds like that was a critical time that turned finances around, turned your life around, put you on this path to the success that you're on now. What was it that really got you there?
I was poor. I was living in, at that time I was living in half of a 1-car garage that was like mocked up to be a studio apartment. Cost $400 a month. I'd never paid this guy on time, ever. Before that, I lived in my car. My mother doesn't even know I was living in my car for a little while. I just realized that life, it was weird because I'm smart. Like,
Right.
I went to college. I started college in 5th grade. I took astronomy, algebra, and computer science in 5th grade. I then went to college in 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. I went away to college, realized that wasn't for me, came home, and then it was just like this windfall of, I guess I had the wrong mindset, so the wrong results were coming to me, and it proved a lot of, like, didn't matter how smart I was, didn't matter what I felt like I could do, didn't matter. What mattered was, what was I going to do and why was I doing it, and in the end, how much more could I do and how much more was I willing to give, whether I'm giving to you, someone else, or myself. A lot of times we don't want to give to ourselves. I have a picture of myself on my phone, okay? And someone asked me yesterday, is that a picture of you on your phone? I said, yeah, I was listening to the speaker, and he said, I don't put pictures of my wife or my kids on my phone. And they said, why? And I said, because then every time I look at my phone, I just want to be with them, and I want to do better for them. But I realized unless I do better for me, unless I make myself the best version of me possible, then I'm never going to be able to do good for them. So I put a picture on my phone of a me that I really, really look at and it inspires me, and then I go run to be that person. So I did it. I took that approach. I said, well, all right, let me go run to be the person I see in that photo. Not anyone else sees, but the person I see in that photo and what that vision is. Let's go run and be that person every day.
And then it's internal.
It's internal.
And you're doing it as opposed to, again, going back to what, I've done, some people have done, is we do things for these external factors.
Yeah.
But once we do it for ourselves.
Yeah. But not out of sticks.
Yeah.
We're ultimately doing it for ourselves so that we can be more for other people. All right. So it's a different approach, man, but it's not so different when we think about it. Like, it's not. It's what we all know.
Yeah, no. We know what the right thing to do is.
It's hard to practice. It's been hard for me to practice a lot of the time. But it's so ingrained in me that when I find that I'm falling off track, it's very simple for me to just jump back on. Because it's who I've been for so long. So.
So that discipline, probably, I guess, starts with your habits. What is that? Just high level, I know you have a lot of disciplines that I've observed that I'm like, like, but what are just how just a morning routine or evening routine? Like, how do you maintain this structure to be able to serve like you do?
I think the word you said there, discipline, is key, right? And routine is key. I don't work well off routine. Knowing yourself is so important because I have come to terms with the fact that this idea of, well, I'm just going to run around and do whatever I want, kills me. It doesn't help me at all. It's for a lot of people that motivates them and that gets them going. Knowing yourself is important because I have tried that and all I do is gain a bunch of weight. I'm unhappy. I'm not the best for other people. I need routine. I need to know that today I'm doing this and this is how I'm doing it and everything. So every morning it's the same morning routine. I wake up, I give thanks. If I'm home, I walk down to the second floor of my house. I look down into the first floor, past my family room, past my great room, past my kitchen. And I'm just like, thank you. Like, this is not, I live in an 8,000 square foot house that I 100% gutted and then designed and renovated. I used to live in my car, right, and I don't forget amazing. That, so I give thanks. If I'm not home, I just take a second and do that. After that, I look to learn something. I make my coffee. I love having my coffee. I sit quietly and I look to learn something. I have 10 minutes of social media light time where I go on other people's social media and I just look to engage and just be there to respond, to like, to watch, to share, whatever it is, but other people's stuff. And I do that every day. And it's clockwork. Like that I don't miss. If I miss that, something's off, right? So I just don't miss that. And then after that, I really look at what's my schedule going to bring me to. But what I don't look at is what's my schedule going to bring me to and when do I want to be done? I love to work. And there's nothing wrong with
there's nothing wrong with that. I've been saying this for years. There's nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong with
the work.
Yeah. We live in this world where people are like, man, you should have balance and you should this and you should that. I do. my balance work.
Right. Today's a holiday. Yeah. Why are you going into the office? Right.
Why? What do you mean? Why? Yeah. A holiday to who? Right. I feel like we just, what made this world great was people that said, no matter what, I'll put in the work. I will put in the effort. I will put in the drive. I will put in the commitment, and it's non-negotiable. And I feel like we've reversed track a bit and said, well, why aren't you relaxing enough? Why aren't you having enough fun? Who said I'm not? I am working. That is what is fun to me. That's what makes me happy. And I got a 14-year-old son. My daughter will be 12 in a couple weeks. I've been married for 17 years.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, it's great. But the kicker there is people say, well, you're not spending enough time with these people and these people. Yes, I am, because they know the mission. Like, we don't do any business without a family meeting. When we got into real estate, now my kids were young, they didn't know, but we've consistently had these meetings. We talked about, like, this is our plan, this is the goal, this is what it'll take, this is the sacrifice. So even in business, I have 8 more years. 8 more years, I'll be 50, and that's it. I'm done. My wife and I will travel. I will write more books, and I will speak. Or my wife will give me the blessing to move into politics. Now, I would love to be into politics, but what I know is this. My wife, we met when I was 14 and she was 13. We've been through it, okay? She has been marching to the beat of my drum for a long time. So the Phil wants to do another thing, it's not fair, right? So if she's like, yeah, go into politics, I'm totally cool with it. I'm going in hard. If she says no,
let's take some time.
We're done. Yeah. We don't need any more. Well, then, okay, I accept. I submit. Let's go have some fun.
Reluctantly or like
happily?
Happily. Okay.
Happily, because it would mean that everything that has come before that has been a lie. Because if I am reluctantly submitting, that means that I lied to her when I said 8 more years, 9 more years, 10 more years. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's it. I mean, it really is. The day I turned 50, it all.
That was it.
It's what are we gonna do? Oh, that's what we're gonna do. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, you heard it here. You heard it here, right? Yeah. So, all right. Well, what do you like to do? I mean, 14, 12, 17-year marriage. You know, obviously, spending time with the family is key. What do you like to do in addition to that, outside of work?
Outside of work, it is pretty much. I have my one, which I'll hold. I'll tell you in a sec. But sports, just like you, like, it's sports all the time. I messaged my wife today and said, what do we got going on this weekend?
That's right.
She said, lacrosse. I said, for who? She said, both of them. I said,
okay. 2 different locations.
Right. Exactly. 2 different locations, same exact time. No one riding this. So that's a big one. It's always doing something with sports. I've also coached sports for 19 years, at least 2 seasons. So this is, I just finished last basketball season. I coached my son's team, and that is the last year so far. That's what we're projecting that I will be ever coaching him, because he's moving into high school, and I don't want to high school coaching it's a job. It's a career, really. I don't want to do that. And unless my daughter asks me to coach something, then I'm not going to be doing any more coaching. But so I love sports. I love watching my kids play sports. It's really neat. I watched my son in 8th grade he was in 7th grade play lacrosse. It's the one sport I didn't coach him in. The first game, I said to my wife, this is what you get to do? She's like, what do you mean? I said, I've watched Ethan the whole game. She said, yeah, he's our son. I said, Vic, I never watch Ethan. I watch every kid and coach every kid from the sideline. And I said, This is amazing. Like, you just get to watch your kid and just love what your kid's doing. So that's been really neat for me to just have that different approach.
That's a cool.
I love, we have a boat, love going out on the boat, relaxing, but really my thing, if I'm not like hanging out at home with the family or doing something with my wife, I love to mow my lawn.
Really?
Man, I love, people say, well, why don't you have people mow your lawn? I've tried it.
They don't do it right.
Thing. Like, right. Number one, they don't do it the way I do it. Well, you can find someone that could, I know, but look, bottom line is I'm going to do it right. Okay.
The
first time. And I love it, the peace, because that's where I don't answer my phone. That's where I listen to either a book or I'll just put music on. I check out, and it's such a peaceful activity, and it's rewarding to me. Like, I'm no exaggeration, the number one thing I cannot wait to do when I get home from this trip is go mow my lawn. I love to mow my lawn. So it's different, but that's my thing.
Yeah, I mean, if it gives you, I mean, it's the little pleasures. Believe it or not, especially when you're busy like you are. You know, I arranged the K cups. I put them in an order,
and you like it.
No,
that's weird, but that's
right. That's it. But you know, so we all have our right.
Yeah.
We have a thing.
Yeah. So
we have a thing. So all right. So what you said, the team.
Yeah.
The team right now is about 30.
About 30 people. I think we have an onboarding starting tomorrow for, I believe, 3 more agents. But we have call it about 20, mid-20s in agents and then staff.
Okay.
And so staff is ops, media, marketing, finance, and then we have in-house mortgage, and then I have, you know, a joint venture with title and things like that.
So full operation. Full operation. So where do you see, and now in this is, I guess, to come back a little bit. I mean, I guess I probably could have come backwards first. But where did you know, how long had you been licensed, and what did that look like once because you know, we followed the story. You made the decision, we're going to make a change. You started pouring into others. And is that around the time when you got it back into real estate?
Well, no, not really then in that capacity. So I actually moved to doing some wholesaling, and then I worked for my mother's mortgage company, and then my wife and I moved to Florida right after we got married, and then we started a mortgage company. So we had 2 mortgage companies there. And then after the market crashed, I left real estate for 10 years. I sold all my properties and just completely left real estate. I was very disheartened. And I was in direct sales for 10 years and did very well, sold my business. And when I was 35, I just checked out and just completely retired and said, I'm done. I've had enough for now, right? I've been working really hard. Right. So after about a year and a half, my wife started hinting towards, you know, hey.
You get on her nerves.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
That's how I was going to put
it. Right, but yeah, you got to, hey, you need to, I need somewhere for you to go in the daytime.
So, and she had the idea of getting our real estate license, and I jumped on board with that, and then we just ran with it. So we're in year 7.
Okay.
Of that actually.
So that's amazing.
Yeah.
7 years. So what is, and she's a part of the team?
She is licensed. She doesn't sell homes. She's our CFO.
Okay.
She is in 100% in charge of the money. But it's neat because she's in charge of the money for this company, our construction company, my consulting company, and our house. I have no idea what happens with the money. I don't want any idea. I completely trust her to do and handle everything, and it works for us.
Yeah, and you do what you get to do what you do best.
Yes, and not be stressed about this part that I'm not really that good at. So she has the college.
Yeah, and sometimes when you look under the hood, you know, you don't know, how the sausage is made, right? But it can be distracting. So exactly. You get to do what you do best. She gets to do what she does best, and you guys run a lean mean machine, or a big lean machine. Yeah. Good stuff. So where do you see the next 7 years? Like 30, 30 to 300, 30 to 35. Like, where do you see? Because you got, 8? You got 7 years left, 8 years left before.
I don't want to say this is how big the team will be. I took that approach for a little while. Like, let's just build the team size. What I've found is I just really want the right people. Like, I have noticed that I need to go through anywhere from 5 to 12-ish agents to find one that I can start pouring into, and they're going to be a killer. Like, they're going to be something special. And we have some great agents, man. We really do. But you can look at the class of agents. I call it class because we have our onboarding classes. Okay. So you can look at each class and say, man, well, that was a whole class and they just washed out. The whole class washed out. There's 90 days and none of them are here.
You're right.
And then you can say, well, look at that class. Well, all of them are still here. But I will give everything. But here's what I tell agents. What do you want to give? What percent? Of 100%, how much percent do you want to give? Well, I want to give 80%. I want to give 30%. Great. And then what I expect from you is 100% of the 30.
Right.
100% of the 80. I'm not going to ask you for more than you want, but I'm going to ask you for everything you said you were going to give, and I'll match it.
I like that.
I'll match it and I'll give it. Now, this. The hard part is, like, people don't always look at it this way, but we give so much. If they leave or it doesn't work out, it kind of hurts, right? It's just like, man, building something.
Right. I'm believing in you.
And you just ripped a piece of me out. So you want to be careful with that, but at the same time, I want to give everybody all of it. So, and that's that service mindset. So I think that in the next 8 years, we'll grow in size, but more importantly, I want to grow in quality. I want agents that I know that I can say to my wife, hey, do you want to go to Europe for a few weeks? And I've got true leadership that it would never skips a beat. I want staff that, and this is something that we've been working on our staff. Like my staff, the whole push for us is how do I give them an ownership perspective? That is hard because they're not owners, right? But how do we, I used to work nights when I was in high school at a gas station. And I remember I was walking out with my manager in the morning and there was this pack of gum that was crooked. I'm like 16. And I said, oh, one sec. And I fixed the pack of gum. And she stopped and looked at me like I was crazy. And she's like, how much do I pay you? And it was like $4.45.
That was the rate. That was the rate.
Yeah. And she said, I'm going to give you, I think it was a 30-cent raise. I was so, I mean, I called my mom.
Yeah, like 8 to 7%. That's it, yeah.
Right? And that was a lesson to me that was strange to her. That I stopped after I had punched out to fix a pack of gum was odd to her. And it was so odd that she recognized it and she rewarded me for it. I like that. So what can I do? I can do more than most people would do. In fact, for us, we look at everything. We're the new standard. People are going to start at 1 and they're going to aim for 10. How do we start at 10 and aim for up and just grow from there? So look, we might be at 100 agents. We might be at, I don't know, 30 still.
But they're going to be the right 30.
Yeah, they're going to be
the right
30,
100.
The right 100, exactly.
Just stuff. Yeah, and you don't want 30% of the 30%.
No.
Right. Right. Then we're down to 9. What are we down to 9%? Yeah, no. We want, whatever you're going to give,
the 100% of that.
Then we want 100% of that.
Yeah.
I like that.
It helps us to meet people where they are and it also helps us to help them feel valued. Because when you give me, like, you're on the team and you go and you do 40 deals for the year. I'm on the team and I do 5. But you set a goal to do 40 and I set a goal to do 5. Well, as a leader, I want each person to feel that same level of appreciation. Well, but Melvin did 40. Why do you appreciate, Phil for his 5? Because that's what he said.
That was his goal.
He honored his word. That was his goal. He set his goal. And it took a lot. And it was hard work for him. But he doesn't come in the office every day. Phil, we're an in-office team. I get it, but you're not looking at Melvin's life. You're not looking at Phil's life. You're not looking at Susie's life or whoever's life. Like, they have other pieces of their puzzle that maybe I don't have or you don't have. And I just want to appreciate all of that for people. Because if I don't, then they're a number. And then when they're a number, why are you a number? Because you make dollars. And then why you make dollars? Because that brings money in. Well, now I'm not serving anymore. I'm all about the money. And I don't want to be that. So.
That's good. Good scout.
I'm sure. I imagine that if I took a completely different approach, I could make more money. Like, if I was just dollars and cents, I probably could make more money. I just don't care.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be as fulfilling.
That's fulfilling. Exactly.
Yeah, you get jaded, it would affect everything. It would affect everything.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, the relation to coaching. I mean, just the fact, 19 years coaching. Yeah. Just speaks to the, I respect the coaches.
Yeah, I know you.
I've coached a little bit, not 19 years, but I've coached. And that's hard work.
Get it.
Yeah, that's hard work.
And it's neat because, like the kids, like my son's kids, my son's friends, my daughter's friends, I've known them forever. And I'm Coach Phil. My son just called a moment ago. And he asked this question in the background. One of the kids, or Coach Phil, you actually believe him? Like, right? He's 14 now, but I've known them since preschool, coaching them. So it's just really neat to have that relationship.
That has to be hard coaching. I would coach. I don't know that I could coach my kids though. I tried that. Even just a few weeks ago, and I'm not a good. I'm the crazy coach, dad, parent, the one that everyone points to. Like, why is he acting like that? Yeah, no, that was me. So
I think you just have to have a very different approach. Like, I watch some coaches on the field, and I'm a yeller. I'm gonna tell you right now. So don't think I'm not the one that's not on the field. Like, let's get down court, get down the field, whatever. But it's like, okay, that happened. Now, how do I lift you up? Good or bad, how do I lift you up? I think a lot of coaches miss that you can try and teach a lesson, they will forget it. You can lift these kids up, they'll never forget it. Like, I've got this one guy, he said, he was the smallest kid on our basketball team. And I said, hey, man, you've been the smallest kid for a while, right? He said, yeah. I said, think about the last 5 years. He's a 14-year-old boy. I said, for the last 5 years, you've been the smallest kid, right? He said, yeah. I said, I knew it. He said, how? I said, because you play like it. I said, when you get the opportunity to shoot the ball, you don't. When you get the opportunity to make a good pass, you don't. When you get the ball, you freeze. Because for the past 5 years, everyone else has been telling you one thing. You're the smallest kid. I said, what I want you to do is from today moving forward, decide what the next 5 years are going to be. But before you decide, forget about your height. Forget about your muscle. Just decide in your mind, who are you on the court? This kid went from refusing to shoot the ball to banging three-pointers, game-winning three-pointers, just doing it. Like, because he didn't do a layup. Yeah. Now he's hitting threes like it's nobody's business. It's just in his mind. He just had to say, you know what, for the next 5 years, I'm not going to be who they told me I am. I'm going to be who I want to be. And every time I see him now, don't forget, next 5 years. That's all I say to him. Yep, Coach Phil, that's it. He gets it. So in the end, let's go 20 years down the line. Will he say to his son, who do you want to be in the next 5 years? So a coach told me one day, who do I want to be? And it changed my life. We all have the opportunity to do that. But a lot of us are too busy on ourselves to recognize when someone needs that. And it's just, that's why I love coaching kids.
Yeah, and I bet, I mean, and I know that 19 years of coaching kids is very similar to coaching the military.
You know, right?
I mean, you know, I don't know.
Right.
You know, because we're in small businesses. You know, consulting. It's the same. It just happens to be the business of real estate.
Exactly. It teaches you. And it's weird just hearing me say it because I'm such a hard person. Like, I'm very matter of fact, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes. But it teaches you how to be empathetic, and really to just accept where people are, and then help them get where they want to go. I think that there's two ways. Like, you either just accept someone and help them, or say no, do it anyway. Do it anyway. It never worked for me. Right? Do it anyway was like, I'm just mad cursing the whole time. Mm-hmm. Why am I doing this? Like, what's the point? As opposed to, here's what we're going to do because you said you want to do this, and here's how it's going to help you do it. Are you in? All right, then I'm in too. Let's do it together. Even my boys, when they're running, I would always say, well, let's go. And I'm in a suit because I would come in the middle of my day to go coach, and I would run. I'd run with them. And look, why are you running?
Do it.
Because
exactly.
We're a team.
Yeah.
Not you're the team. We're a team. So I'm you run, I run. If you do something that means we're going to run, that means I did something that means we're going to run. And that's the approach that I always took. So, yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Let me ask you, what was a time, and I know thank you for your time. What was a time where you had, either a client, mm-hmm. Either an Asian client or a consumer client, yep. That had some adversity that either they didn't think that they would be able to overcome, mm-hmm. and you were able to help them overcome it. And I guess to speak to the small business owner out there, the shoe repair person, the restaurant owner, the construction business owner, the person who's maybe having some challenge or some adversity.
Yeah.
Do you have a situation like that, or a case study, so to speak?
You keep it lighter, because I've had agents and people call me and say, look, they've called me with, I've got calls where I got off the phone and said, well, why did they call me? Why was I the person they called? Because it was so deep and so heavy, but they felt like they needed someone to share it with, and they shared it with me. And I wouldn't feel comfortable then sharing that, right? But I'll give you 2 examples. One will be deeper. I had a mentor once who said, Phil, I just want to check on you. I said, well, why did you just reach out to me? He said, well, because a mentor once told me, every time you think of someone, that's God telling you should reach out to them. So I've adopted this. If I think about somebody, bam, I'm reaching out to them. Hey, how you doing? Everything good? Blah, blah, blah. I don't need any more. I want you to know someone is thinking of you. I did that. And a buddy of mine said, you know, I'm so happy you reached out because all day I've been thinking about killing myself. I had no clue. You wouldn't have a clue. I mean, you look at him and he's just, it's men, man. Like, you gotta be strong. You just gotta be stronger. And it was a real eye-opener to me. Like, it wasn't me. It was God telling me what to do. And I had to be a servant. Again, goes back to service. Had to be a servant for him and reach out to his child. So that was a big one. But just on a business sense, I had a house and it's funny how the world works. I rented this house when I moved back to Maryland from Florida. It didn't end well with the landlord.
Okay.
It was this big, it was about 5,500 square feet. So really good size house, nice house. And it just didn't end well at all. But I said to Victoria, like, we could have sued them. I said, let's just find a way to leave this on and up.
As best as we can.
Don't burn the bridge. Let's just find a way. Now, 2 houses up, they own, 3 lots up, call it. 2 houses, 3 lots up. They own this giant house, like 15,000 square feet, 40-foot ceilings, just beautiful. 10 years they were trying to sell this house. They were trying to sell it when we rented. I wasn't in real estate, okay? For 10 years. Finally, they called us. It's like, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but you rented my house here. I want to sell my big house with you. No one's been able to sell it. Are you up for the challenge? We sold it.
Bam.
This thing has been listed with every agent you can think of, but we applied our tool. So then he's like, all right, good job. You know the house you lived in? Can you sell that? Good job. You know that empty lot? Can you sell that?
Boom.
We sold the whole block for him. He owned 3 of 4 of the lots on the block, and we sold all of them. And I said to my wife, Victoria, I said, can you imagine if we would have sued this guy? Like, just think about how intelligent it was to just say, be the bigger person right here. It's not worth it. Because in the end, it wasn't. It wasn't worth it because of what we might have lost, but it also wasn't worth it because why put the energy in? Like, in the end, all that energy, what would it have got us? A security deposit?
Yeah.
Come on.
It wouldn't have got you the phone call.
It wouldn't have, sure wouldn't have got me.
At least it would have been some other words on the other end.
And we made a lot more than the security deposit. So, yeah. So it's, that was a really, because everyone knew the house in the area. And when we sold it,
yeah, that was a trophy.
Yeah, that was a trophy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Good stuff. All right, let me say, I got a quote of the day. Let's see what we got here. All right.
It'd be easier to find if it was on an iPhone.
No, actually, I tried that before, and it didn't work that well.
It's much better.
All right. If you work just for money, you'll never make it. But if you love what you're doing, you always put the customer first. Success will be yours. Ray Kroc.
Did you look for that before? How did that? Is that not?
Listen, they just come to me, right?
That was
amazing how it works.
Yeah.
It's a Samsung feature.
No, it's not. It's not. Definitely not. If it was, no, you barely got to turn on right there. I saw you. You couldn't see no camera. You couldn't get it to work.
All right, this is good. So let me ask you: if we were in the, let's say someone to buy or sell, or probably maybe thinking about joining your growing team, and be that 31st or that 101st
there we go
agent on your team. I understand they could join your team from anywhere in the country. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
How would we reach you?
So anywhere, like you said, anywhere in the country, anywhere in Canada, you can reach me just email me. You can email Phil Gerdes at thegerdesteam.com, or you can call me or text me at 443-775-3906, or look at me on social at Phil Gerdes, Gerdes, anywhere on all the social platforms.
Good stuff, man.
All right.
I appreciate it, man.
Pleasure. Yeah.
All right.
Great.
Good.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.